Hello everyone. Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself for those who have stumbled onto my channel for the first time. So, greetings everyone. My name is Genril. Normally I will be uploading texting story videos of My Hero Academia, or I will be writing fan fiction using other powers from other animes to incorporate to My Hero. That is what I have been doing for the last 5 months. Last 5 years, if I recall. As for the video that this video itself, it has been a project that I want to work on for a very long time, but I haven't been able to to do it because of university and a lot of stuff. So now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, I thought that a review of a movie that I have watched with my friend, like around 2 to 3 months ago, would be the perfect fit, since I have still recalled some memories of me watching it with my friend. So, yep, this will be a review of the movie Project Sekai, a Miku who can't sing. Before I go into the good and bad stuff that I think is portrayed throughout the movie, let me give you a brief rundown of Vocaloid and Project Sekai itself. So let's start off with the easy one for me to explain. Vocaloid. Vocaloid in and of itself is just using a voice box to play a rhythm music. In this case, the voice box itself would voice the words and turn it into music. I know this is a very simplified way of what Vocaloid is, but it's the premise of it that matters. For those of you that haven't listened to any Vocaloid song before, I would say that you are missing out. Like, really, you are missing out. In other terms, you could say that Vocaloid itself has become a very huge thing all over the world, but it wasn't always like this. Vocaloid has always been big, especially in Japan, but especially throughout the world. Some countries don't like it, some countries do like it a lot. So it will be up to your premises whether you like this music or not, or do you really enjoy it. This is all up to your taste. As for the Project Sekai itself, for those that are wondering why this movie is called this in the first place, because the movie is set in the Project Sekai game universe-ish. I'm not too sure about this one, but the Project Sekai universe is basically just similar to every music game that you can find out there. So I would guess it's quite similar to Love Live, Idol Master, and Band Dreams. Any of you that have played Project Sekai before, you can correct me on this one, because I haven't played it before. I have been planning to play it once I'm ready to do a review of the game. Once I have more time to actually invest in playing the game, because the last time I played any rhythm game was like almost 7 years ago, and a rhythm game that is not on my phone or laptop is basically Taika no Katsujin, which is an arcade game, and I usually play that with friends and I suck at it. So from this point until the good stuff, it will be all speculation on my part. This is just like me giving a brief understanding of what I saw in the movie. So the game itself will have five bands, I think, and then the sixth one will be the Vocaloid band itself. I'm not too sure how that works, but I'm supposed that each band will kind of cover each type of genre of music. You have the slow beat one, hip hop, idol-ish, and then we have goth, like punk rock. I'm also not too sure about this. Then again, I haven't played. Once I played it, I'll probably leave a comment and then pin it just to correct a few things about this segment. But if I don't, then I'll probably correct it once I do the review of the game itself. So I do apologize in advance. Now that we have gotten all of that out of the way, let's get on to stuff that I like about the movie. First of all, I have talked about this before. Talk about this just now. The band members. This might be just a me thing, but the band members and the amount of screen time that they have, I feel like they are very equal in a way. You can correct me on this one, that if you have watched the movie. In my gut feeling, each of the members of each band, and this includes everyone in the band aside from the robot, have similar amount of lines and similar amount of screen time, which is very difficult to do once you have to manage over a certain amount of characters. And believe me, I know, because I have write stuff before, but I'm not very good at it. So in my opinion, to be able to manage 10 people at once and have them like each of them have a significant role or have like a very, you know, similar amount of dialogue is already very difficult. 20 or close to 20 or above is extremely difficult. Reason because if you have too many characters, the dialogue will seem drag out. Like some characters, like if they don't speak, they just kind of agree or nod their head, right? But if every character speaks, it will be kind of like they just, you know, they will be repeating and rehashing the same thing over and over again, which I feel like in this movie they have done a good job of completely avoiding that from happening. Another point that I want to mention is how they use Vocaloid in the movies. So, just to give you an example, Miku herself, basically the queen of Vocaloid, but that title is a little bit debatable, is basically everywhere. You can see her in the subways, you can see her in advertisement, you can see her in billboards, she's in your phone, probably in your Wi-Fi and hiding in your house. If you get the reference, congratulations, you're old, just like me. I'm just kidding, you're not that old. So basically, how they use Vocaloid in the movie is very smart, and the way that they incorporate it into Japan is also quite smart. It also shows that, you know, the Vocaloid premise in this movie is very important. It's basically what causes the climax of the movie to begin with. But to avoid spoilers, I will refrain from talking about that throughout the entire review. If you want to know what's up, I highly suggest you watch the movie itself once you are available to get your hands on it. Sorry for the stutter, my brain freeze. That happens a lot. Yeah. So basically, once the movie is released, I highly suggest you, if you want to know what happened, you should go and watch it for yourself after watching the review. On to the next part, the songs. A Vocaloid movie cannot be complete without songs, but ironically, the best songs aren't even Vocaloid. Now hear me out. I'll explain why in further detail once I get to the stuff I don't like. But the songs that I do like, surprisingly enough, is basically all of the 5 band songs that happens during the climax. Which is odd, because like when you have 5 bands writing similar premise of songs, it's quite hard to have all of them rank in your top 5. I don't recall what is my ranking, but I recall I really enjoyed the Idol one the best, and then the hip hop one I think is, and then the last on my top 5 is like the emo girl band ish one. I couldn't remember. So basically every band is basically on my top 5, which is odd because the movie itself kinda wants you to like the songs that have been built up since the very beginning. But yeah, I'll talk more about that once I get into the stuff I don't like. The last part I really want to mention for now is the design of each Sekai. For those that don't know Japanese or just confused, Sekai is just world. But, you know, in this scenario, they just use Sekai itself. Sekai in the movie is portrayed as realms or quote unquote different dimensions that each band can access once they're on their device, which in this case could be phone or laptop or computer per case. Once they're inside, they're able to communicate with their version of Miku, Rin, and so basically the twins, Luca, Kaito, and Meiko. Basically the core six of Vocaloid, the six that started it all per se. Each Sekai doesn't have all the members, of course. I think I think from what I have seen, I haven't seen designs for the I think it's the male twin in the school setting one, but I might be wrong. It's been 3 months ago. I cannot remember anything. But each of the character design make it feels that each of their versions are different people, which is good in a way. It makes you feel like the emotions of each character or basically each version are different from one another, which this is the part that I really like about the designs. Now then, let's move on to the stuff that I don't like. Before I begin, this part is completely my opinion. Once you have the chance to watch the movies yourself, or if you have watched the movies, you might have come to a different opinion than what I have. So again, this is my opinion only, and don't let my opinion cloud any of your judgment of watching or not watching this movie. At the end of the day, it's your choice. This is just how I feel. Now then, main point of contention, Kaito and Luca. So, for those of you that haven't listened to any Vocaloid song before, Kaito is a little bit of an odd one. The voice box that they use for Kaito in the movies is basically his original VO. So basically his original voice box per se. But the problem is, there has been renditions of Kaito that perfectly tones or perfectly shift his voice to fit the scenario. I'm gonna bring up an example here. For those of you that have been been on the internet for a very, very long time, you might have heard of the song called Bad End Night. Basically, it's I think it's a 3-part song. So there's Bad End Night, Happy you can search it up on YouTube. But basically, the Kaito in that song, his voice doesn't sound this pitch up and it doesn't sound weird. I would be happy if they have used that pitch that they use for the song to use that for the movie itself, because Kaito, while watching, I basically my ears were bleeding. For Luca, is different. Luca have been suffering from the meme of she's being purple Miku's ever since her conception. That could probably be because she is, don't quote me on this, but I think she is using the same voice box as Miku, just shift down a little bit. So basically, the meme of her being purple Miku is still applicable to this movie. I'm going to bring up the Bad End Night song again, because I feel like if they have just used both versions of Kaito and Luca from that song and transferred it to this movie, I feel like those two characters would be way more enjoyable. Okay, now let's head back to songs. The main song itself. I forgot the song, but I think it's Hello Sekai. Basically, it's the main song that's our main Miku, basically the Miku protagonist, have been singing the entire song. Have been singing the entire movie. Every 5 to 10 minutes, you hear a snippet of Miku singing the opening. So basically, and that's it. Once the climax happened, each of the Vocaloid members kind of extend the song by bit, and then once Miku comes back, she basically finish the song. Although I feel like the song is a little bit underwhelming, as per usual, the after concert really do caught me off guard. I should have put this in the good one, but the song itself is quite mid, so I would put this in here. And also, there's not really a mention of an after concert after the movies where I have watched it, so I'm a little bit perplexed of why they never informed anyone that there will be an after party for the movie. I also don't know, but hey, I digress. It happens, but then again, I find it enjoyable enough. The song itself, if it wasn't repeated over and over and over again during the movies, I feel like the ending song could have been better. It have like that hype of expectation set up so high from how Miku have been singing the entire song, the entire like movie, and then it just got completely shattered by underwhelming results. Not saying that the song is bad, but it's just quite underwhelming. Final part. This is probably have to do with something in the game, but can't confirm because I haven't played it. But each of the bands does not interact with each other at all. There's a scene that I can completely remember, but it does not relate to spoilers, so I can really mention it. Before the climax, basically each of the band member visit our main Miku in like what I would call the main realm, basically the Miku of all existence realm. Basically, Miku sees all of them, but each of the band members cannot, each of the band member in their respective bands can see each other, but the bands cannot see each other. So basically, from their perspective, it will be their band members and air. But I don't. But then again, this is probably something that has to do with the games. Although the robot from the circus band did mention that there's other people in that realm with them. So I would have guessed that they know, but from how they interacted throughout the movies and at the ending, I have a feeling that they have no clue who the other peoples are. I would like to see interactions between each band member though. It would be quite an interesting trope. Like, not in a ways of like, oh, this and that. Sure. I recall this the sibling band between the boy in the circus one and the girl. I think both of them have yellow hair. I forgot the name. Basically, those two are siblings. But if you ask me from a movie watcher, do they know each other that they are in like separate bands and stuff? I think the sister know that her brother is in a amusement park theme band, but I don't think the brother knows. And the way that the movie portrays it, I feel like they also don't know. So yeah, this is just like my opinion on the stuff I don't like. To conclude, okay, before I give my scoring for the movie, I would like to say that this movie actually did one thing that is really impressed me. You might disagree with me on this one, but the movie itself really portrays how hard it is being an upcoming artist. Think of it this way: our main Miku is an up and coming artist. What she has to compete with is the other successful songs that is using her voice. I could to put it this way, like if songs like Anemika Mikuchi or the disappearance of Hatsune Miku or any popular Miku song out there haven't existed at all, and the first song of Miku is in this movie, I would definitely agree that these songs basically set the bar and the standards for any Vocaloid song moving forward. But since there's been plenty of masterpieces using her voice, when she started coming in, there's a lot of pressure that she won't make it, and I feel like they kind of completely picture that voiced it in the movies perfectly. Then again, this is just how I interpreted the movie. Other people's interpretation might be different to mine, but this is how I feel while I was watching. Personal opinions of this one is quite of a mixed bag. I have expressed most of my thoughts when I was describing what I don't like already. For example, I would like to see some of the band members interact with each other bands more. I would like the song could probably be better and probably just change Kaito's voice here and there, but at the end of the day, those are just my personal opinions. Some people might like Kaito's funky voice or Luca being just Purple Miko 2.0, but that's their, but okay, that's their liking, that's their preference. We are not like, nobody's gonna fault them for it, and probably they're not gonna fault me for having my own opinions on this. Overall enjoyment for this movie, scoring wise, normally I won't rank anything in a score like this, because I do feel like scoring is just placebo effect, where like if the scoring is very high, people would just flock to it, and if the scoring is very low, before people even watch it, they would just kind of meh, this is not for me. But since almost every review end with a score is kind of mandatory, in my personal opinion, the movie itself is good. Are there flaws? Yes. Are there imperfections? Yes. But I feel like those flaws and imperfections have been overshadowed by the stuff that they have been brought to light. Like I have said before, the deeper meaning behind the movie, the climax, the main songs of the five bands. Sure, at the end of the day, this might have been a big promotion for Project Sekai, the game, but they have done a completely good job of promoting it, and they have done a completely good job of promoting Vocaloid to other audience who don't know what Vocaloid or Project Sekai is. If you're judging them from this basis, sure, it will be an 8 out of 10. But overall, with how the movie is structured and everything else, I think a 7 out of 10 would be a good scoring for the movie. Oh, the entertainment value is very high. So if any of you who have played Project Sekai or is a huge fan of Vocaloid in general, I would highly recommend you to go out and watch this movie once it's available in streaming sites, or this is just between you and me. You can always just sail the high seas if once it's available, but if you get caught, don't tell it's first from me. So yeah, but for those that don't like Vocaloid or haven't played Project Sakai before, let this be a good introduction to this both mediums for you. I'm pretty sure that almost everyone who have watched this movie, once it was already in theater or the cinema in this case, have known about Project Sakai or have known about Vocaloid. But if people who have watched this review and have no idea about these two mediums, I would highly suggest this is a very good start for you. Once you finish the movie and want to continue exploring, there's the game that you can always try it out. But I do warn you, from what I have seen, it's basically just like Idolmaster and Love Live. Basically, it's a tapping rhythm game. So if the game is not for you, I would highly suggest you look up the review for now, as in the review gameplay. And then for Vocaloid, it's always songs. There's plenty of artists out there who use Vocaloid for their songs. There will be, I'm pretty sure and I'm pretty certain that there will be a song just for you. So there we go. That's my review of Project Sekai, a Miku who can't sing. I hope that you all did enjoy it. And for those that are new here, don't worry, you don't have to go watch any of my texting story stuff, because I know that some of the stuff I have written out ass. But I'll try to make review like this semi-weekly. Let's just say that maybe once in like 2 to 3 weeks I'll make one video. If I have the time, I'll probably do once a week, because at the end of the day, writing is still my passion and I want to continue it. So yeah, I hope that you stick around for when the next review is released, and I'll see you all next time.